Hi everyone, welcome back to Kettlebells Made Easy. Again, my name is Rachel Nard, and today we are going into lesson 2, which is the Kettlebell Deadlift. If you didn't watch lesson 1, make sure you go back and quickly watch that. It's just a short introduction video which tells you everything we're going to cover in the next 2 weeks. So today we're going to go into a couple different variations of the deadlift. The deadlift is an awesome skill to have because, number one, it's the precursor to the kettlebell swing. So you want to make sure you can do that efficiently, confidently, and feel great about it. Secondly, it's also a great variation to work into your strength sessions. So I want to show you a few different options that you have, even if you only have a couple kettlebells. So before we get started, I just want to mention, depending on what equipment you have access to right now, I always highly recommend that you start with at least 3 kettlebells. They are sometimes pricey, but if you can find 3, you'll be able to make progress a lot faster. So one of them you want to be lighter, something you could do all out set of 20 plus repetitions for various exercises. Something that's more medium, somewhere in the 8 to 12 range, and then something that is heavier, only in the 3 to 5 range. So if you have a light, medium, and heavy bell, you'll be able to work many different intensities, which we talked about in lesson 1, and how that's actually the one tactic that everyone misses. So you want to make sure you can work different intensities into your workouts. So the first one, you will only need 1 kettlebell. We'll do a 1 kettlebell deadlift. So you want to take something light. We're just going through technique right now. When you stand over the bell, you want the handle to be in line with the arch of your foot. So make sure it's right there. We're going to do something called a hip chop. So you'll take the pinky side of your hand and physically push it into your hip crease, creating a hip hinge. So you'll push it back, let your knees bend. As your knees bend, they're going to stay more over your ankle versus when you squat, they tend to come forward. So we want to make sure that as we hinge back, knees are relatively over the ankle. I'm going to reach for my weight. When I reach for my weight, I want to make sure my back is nice and flat. It's not rounding. I also want to keep my shoulders down and away from my ears. So I don't want to be here when I'm picking up the weight, but nice and relaxed down and away from the ears. So handle in line with the arch, hip chop, reach for the bell, shoulders down, stand all the way up. Okay, so arms are just along for the ride. They don't bend. They don't need to do anything except hold on to the weight. All of the energy and power is coming from your feet, and you're just standing up nice and tall, looking straight ahead at the top, okay? So I'll do some from the side for you guys as well. I want to add the breath because, as we'll get into in the future lessons, the breathing is also one of the most important things that if you have that right from the beginning, you're going to just skyrocket beyond everyone else. So generally with the deadlift, and same thing with the swing, you will inhale at the bottom, exhale as you're standing up. So with the swing, we inhale as the bell's coming through our legs, exhale with the hip snap or hip extension. So if you get into the groove with that when you're doing the deadlift, it will carry over much more easily to your swing. All right, so hip chop. I'm going to inhale. So make sure you take some time to practice just the 1 kettlebell deadlift, maybe 2 or 3 sets of 5, and then we'll move on to the next variation. The next variation is a 2 kettlebell deadlifts. So it's the same thing that we just did, except now we have 2 bells, which helps you to increase the intensity. So even if you got your small, medium, and large, you can do small and medium. You can do medium and large. That's just what we call an offset deadlift because the weights are different. But that's okay. You'll still be increasing the absolute load, which will increase the intensity. If you have a pair of bells that are the same, that's great too. You'll stand over it the same way, just a little bit wider this time. Handle still in line with the arch of your foot. Hip chop, reach, inhale. Do one more from the side. Hip chop, reach, inhale. Next, we're going to go into the suitcase deadlift, which is pretty much the same as this, except the bells are on the outside of your feet. So the suitcase, you'll set up in between the bells. They don't have to be quite at the arch of your foot, but they're a little bit outside my pinky toe. And then you do the same thing. Hip chop, reach, inhale. Show you from the side. Okay, so you have your 1 kettlebell deadlift, 2 kettlebell, which is more of a sumo style. We have your suitcase deadlift, where they're on the outside. You can also do a 1-arm deadlift. So with that, it really helps to target the obliques a little bit more, because if you have a load only on one side, then the opposite side of your core is really going to have to stabilize and create some anti-rotation so that you can still stay in this nice hinging pattern and you're not twisting. So it's a good variation we like to use. You'll set the bell up closer to whichever side you're working, and then it's the same exact thing. Hip chop, reach. I like to make a fist in the other hand just to create tension. Same thing other side. Hip chop. Cool. Lastly, I wanted to show you a single leg option, which is a single leg deadlift. So if you have a furniture slider or even a towel that you can put on a smooth surface, we highly recommend these for single leg deadlifts because it helps keep your hips square to the floor. You're also not so distracted with trying to balance, and you can just focus on the exercise, which is performing a deadlift through one leg. All right, so you can use 1 kettlebell, 2 kettlebells, or just start body weight. I'll show you from the side, it's a little easier. Put 1 foot on the slider and slowly come back. You don't have to touch the floor, just going as far as your hip allows. Same thing on the other side. Weights are just coming down in line with my shoe. Really awesome way to strengthen your hips, glutes, hamstrings, all that good stuff. So now you have 5 deadlift variations in your toolbox. So when we talk about programming in the future, we'll talk about patterns. So this would be part of the lower body pattern and also the hinge pattern. So you have 5 hinge options for your training. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you want more information about our coaching and why it is so unique, definitely make sure you head to trainwithwaves.com, and I'll see you next time for lesson 3. Bye guys.